into the Backcourt Podcast here on a Sunday evening to discuss the AFC South. What I would consider to probably be the worst division in the AFC. What are your thoughts, Gaten?
Yeah, I would say top to bottom, the worst.
Yeah,
Definitely in the AFC. The NFC South, I feel like has a little bit more talent and is a little
I
bit more
agree.
competitive. But yeah, this is probably the worst one.
I think it's the worst division in football, now that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Oh boy.
Danny Dimes going to replace him. We also have, of course, the Texans, CJ Stroud, third year, big expectations over there. But Tank Dell will be out this season. And then our last team is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are probably the most interesting team in this division for me, with acquiring Travis Hunter. You also have a new head coach over there, one of the youngest head coach in front offices in football. Very interested. What's one like big thing that you're looking forward to, or that was really notable, just like studying up on this division, Caden?
Yeah, I would say Travis Hunter for sure. That's like a big question mark that I think will be huge for the Jags if they can figure him out. Um, I think too the biggest question mark in my opinion is Anthony Richardson, quarterback for the Colts. If he can figure it out, I mean that offense is talented enough to run the football, pass the ball, and that new look defense looks pretty compelling. So I think this has a chance to be a good division. I'm curious to see if there's a new division winner. It's kind of been the Texans' division to lose the past few years, but I feel like they're all close enough in terms of talent, um, where one could easily break away. Um,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's top to bottom, probably the weakest division in football. Um, and you'll see here that when we get into our top five players at the end, there's a team I think on mine that didn't make the cut. So that's kind of
Yeah.
where it is at the division.
Yeah, for me, I have a player from everyone, and we'll get into that shortly. But it's definitely in contrast to the AFC North. You have five guys that are legitimate top 10 players in the league. This one, there might be one guy in like the top 20. Well, I'm very curious to see who you have at one. I have a solid guy at number one for me right now, but yeah, definitely very exciting. Quick recap of last year. Uh, Colts were not very good. Titans, obviously the number one pick. You have the Texans made the playoffs last year. And then the Jags were also pretty poor last season. Having the fifth pick, they traded up to get Travis Hunter. They traded up a lot to get him. But Travis is
The Colts,
definitely.
the Colts finished 8-9, or were they 7-10?
Let's go into the books right here.
Because I know they were in like that playoff race the last few weeks of the season, um, and I don't know if they did. They went 7-10 or 8-9, but still a lot more than I thought they would win.
Yeah, because I was definitely thinking that they did worse than they actually did. Because I think they were the
Mhm.
15th pick, so they just barely missed the playoffs.
Yeah, they
So
were. I think they were 8-9. I think it was just one of those where, like,
yeah,
as a
8 and
Bengals
9.
fan, I'm
Yeah.
watching, and it was like we needed them to lose a game. We needed like the Dolphins to lose, the Broncos to lose. We got all of it except for the Broncos.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting team in Indianapolis, and we'll get to this as we go. Not sure how I feel about them. They're just kind of that team that's like, oh, they're okay. They're a very boring team. And I think Indianapolis kind of has that stigma. The city does as well. Indianapolis, not say it's a bad city. It's just not a whole lot going on. And
Right.
same kind of with the football team. Not necessarily that's a bad thing. I don't think they're like one of the worst teams in the league or anything, but they are definitely lacking in certain areas like quarterback. I think one of my hot takes for this division, I think Daniel Jones is going to take over for Anthony Richardson, and I think he's going to be okay. Not great, good maybe, but I think he's going to have like a decent season next year. Kind of a bounce back for him. Want to get
Sorry,
into? Oh, you're good. Did you hear? I said Daniel.
I heard you talk about him. I didn't know if you said anything after that.
Oh no, I was just I was seeing if you wanted to chime in with any thoughts on the QB situation.
No, I think it's just I do like that they brought in Daniel Jones because it is a very similar quarterback. So that you don't have to change the whole system if you make that call. But I think it's just one of those where when you make that call, it's you're giving up your hope on Anthony Richardson. I don't think you can go to Daniel Jones and then go back to AR, next year or even in the season. So I think the head coach will have their hands full because once he makes a bad play, you're going to want Danny Dimes out there, and we'll see what happens there. But very interesting thing to. Yeah,
it's gonna happen. It's gonna be like it's gonna be like around. It's gonna be between the start of the season and like the midway point. Maybe at like a bye, they decide to switch it. I'm not sure exactly where the bye's at, but that's funny too. I've had a couple instances, honestly, like this week, where it's just like dead silent, like, and you're just like, oh shucks, I thought you were gonna say something, and then that person's like, oh, I thought you were gonna say something.
Yeah,
I love awkward silence. It's my favorite. But let's go ahead and jump into the top 5 players of the AFC South Division. And this is presented by Bad Football. Bad Football, sponsor since this episode. But anyways, number 5, Caden, who do you have on your list for the 5th best player in this division?
5th best player, I have wide receiver. Coming into his second year, I have Brian Thomas Jr. Had a great rookie season. Probably the second best rookie wide receiver last year behind Malik Neighbors. A lot of potential there. The addition of Travis Hunter, I think, will be interesting because he should get, a little bit more help in terms of, coverage with Travis Hunter if he's playing both sides of the ball. But had a great campaign. I'm looking forward to see how he plays this upcoming season.
Definitely a great pick there. Just missed my list personally. But I do have one of his teammates. I have Travis Hunter at number 5. I think Travis is going to be great from the get-go. I think they're going to allow him. He kind of went to the perfect spot because he has this young GM, young coach. I think they're really going to experiment with different things that maybe a more conservative, like older head coach that's used to their ways doesn't want to do. But I think Travis is going to be great, both ends, and he's going to be one of the leaders for Rookie of the Year. I think him and Genty I would probably have as 1A, 1B in terms of Rookie of the Year awards. And I have Travis in there. I wanted to include him. Brian Thomas was close as well. It was kind of 1A, 1B, as I said earlier, with those two.
Yeah, he's, like you said about the system, like perfect place to go because they suck outside of BTJ. They suck at wide receiver and they suck at corner. So they both needs met with one player, and I think they'll be very open to letting him play. But he missed my list. I think he was 7 on my list, just because I haven't actually seen him play a snap in the NFL.
Valid. Yeah, I kind of also wanted to have the splashy pick and have a rookie in there. So I don't think another rookie is going to be on any of my lists here.
No.
Just thinking about it, yeah, probably not. Considering Genty, but I think that division's too good when we get to that next episode. But, yeah, who do you have at number 4, Caden?
Number 4, I have another wide receiver. In Houston, I have Nico Collins, who I think is the best wide receiver in this division. What a great year last year. I'm excited to see what he can do this upcoming season. Lost his running mate, Tank Dell, late last year and won't have him this year, but still produces at a high clip and just really really good stuff out of him in Houston.
Yeah, Nico's another guy that missed my list. This is such a weird division. I feel like we're probably going to have some crossover, but there might be a lot of different players mentioned. Number
Mhm.
4 for me is going to be we are going to go with Quentin Nelson, left guard, Indianapolis Colts. It's a weird one, and that's why I stuttered there for a minute because I feel like if it was a couple years ago, he would be number 1 in this division. I think he's slowed down a little bit since his prime, but he's still a great player. And as I go through this list, I'll be honest with y'all, I'm looking at the Madden ratings right now. 99 awareness. So he's very aware out there, knows what's going on, great football IQ,
Knows what's up.
70 speed. I mean, he's got a little speed for an offensive lineman. He's got a little get up. Very strong. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird with offensive linemen, especially someone that has never played football and doesn't scout football necessarily, even though I'm trying to do that a little bit in terms of my draft guide that's going to be coming out soon. But it's definitely kind of hard to tell offensive line who's the best of the best outside of like, oh, this guy's on my team. I watch him every day. He's really good. He doesn't allow sacks. He's really big. I mean, Trent Williams, you look at him as like, yeah, he's probably a good left tackle.
He's probably pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, but Quentin Nelson, number 4 for me.
Yeah. Number 3 for me is, I think, going into his 3rd year, defensive end Will Anderson from Houston as well.
Yep.
He's had a great first 2 years, and I think he's one of the best edge rushers. Maybe not top 5 quite yet, but I think he's right around that like 7 range. But super talented guy.
Yeah, Will Anderson's also number 3 for me. He's a great edge rusher. Also can play in coverage a little bit. He's a very versatile defender. And that's why they traded back up to get him along with Stroud in that draft. He's been great so far there, and really excited to see what he does the next couple of years in Houston. I think if we do this, say next year, he could be a guy who's at the top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
So, definitely agree with you there on Will Anderson Jr.
All right. My number 2 is going to be Derek Stingley, corner.
Ooh.
For Houston as well. 2, 3, and 4, all Houston Texans. But yeah, I think is arguably, second, third best corner in the league. Maybe 2 through 4, really. I think PS2 is probably number 1, and then you have Stingley, Sauce, and Gonzalez, I think, all fighting 2 through 4. But I have Stingley here as second best player in the division.
Yeah. No, definitely a valid pick there. Stingley's been incredible over there. It's kind of, in my opinion, there's a big 3 with Surtain, Christian Gonzalez, and Stingley, but you got to throw Sauce in there because of the season a couple years ago. You can go ahead and talk about consider AJ Terrell, Denzel Ward being in the conversation of those top 5, 10 guys in the league. I mean, Jair Alexander when he plays, but he doesn't play a lot. He's hurt.
Right.
Those are just a couple names come to mind. Number 2 for me, though, is going to be Jeffrey Simmons or Simons, however you say it.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the better defensive tackles in the league today. He's just been extremely consistent his whole career. And, yeah, I think he's one of the bright spots over there in Tennessee where there is, I think it'll be slightly better this year, but there is still a lot of stuff that you're not thrilled about in Tennessee in terms of their outlook for this season. So Simmons, I have at number 2.
Yeah, he's good. I think he's fallen off a little bit the past few years, but still, a really good defensive tackle there.
Yeah.
Shoring up their run defense day in and day out.
Pro Bowler last year.
Yeah. That doesn't mean a lot to me. But
nah, it shouldn't.
My best player in the AFC South is Quentin Nelson.
Okay.
I think he's still very good. I think he's arguably one of the best guards in the NFL. So I have him at number 1, and he's a guy too where I think if he is injured and misses time, I think this Colts team takes 3 steps back without him on the field.
Yeah.
He's my number one.
That's definitely valid. Quentin Nelson, in terms of like his all-pro voting, his first 3 seasons, he was all-pro first team.
Mhm.
And last year, or his last 4 years has been a Pro Bowler every year. 2021 All-Pro second, 2024 All-Pro second. And it's like I talked about earlier, it's like he's fell off a little bit, but he's still an elite guard, like top 5 in the
Mhm.
game. Yeah, so definitely warranted to have Quentin Nelson there. Yeah, he's great. He's great. Very, very consistent. But number 1 for me is going to be Derek Stingley Jr. Like we talked about earlier, one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL today. Let me bring up his page real quick because I think he was All-Pro first team last year along with Pat Surtain. And he's definitely I think this Houston defense has a lot of potential even for this season, but obviously the future with him, Will Anderson Jr., Daniel Hunter. Yeah, I think Stingley's incredible. Very fun to watch as well at the cornerback position.
Yeah, I'm glad that we both. I don't know. It's CJ Stroud's really good. Obviously, he's probably the big one not on this list, not having a quarterback. But I just, it's one of those where I don't think he's top 5 in this division, but I think he's the best quarterback in this division.
I would agree with you. He was an
I need to
honorable
see a little
mention
bit.
for me as well.
Yeah, I need to see a little bit more out of great rookie season. Last year took a big step back. Obviously, offensive line had a lot to do with that, but yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more out of him consistently.
Yeah, I think Nico Collins was another guy for me. Brian Thomas Jr., Daniel Hunter. I don't think of anyone else who cracked my list for just honorable mention guys.
Yeah. And Neil Hunter was definitely on mine.
Yeah.
Travis, obviously.
Yeah, he was up there.
Who else?
I didn't consider any special teamers. I kind of forgot to look at that today, which I love giving shout outs to the special teamers, but I don't think there's anyone. I mean, Fairburn's pretty good, but yeah. I don't know. No,
Titans,
no special
man,
teamers today. Sorry, guys.
Titans is tough. They got left off my list. Just one of those that I don't know if they really have anybody outside of Big Jeff. Cam Ward, I think, has the potential to be really good in that system. I think him going to Tennessee with Callahan as the head coach, who was the offensive coordinator for Joe Burrow for 4 years, I think that's a great spot to learn because I think their play styles are very similar. So I'm expecting Cam to have a pretty good year, but I don't think that the team will have a very good year.
Are you cool if I go on a quick tangent real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Speaking of Callahan, Bo Callahan, the quarterback from draft day. Just thinking about this recently. I might put a list together of the best, worst movies of all time. Just movies that like maybe aren't realistic or just bad, but like ironically funny. A couple that come to mind, like Draft Day, I would think widely considered to be a movie that's not realistic at all, which I agree. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but it's kind of classified as like kind of a cheesy movie. It's not how NFL drafts really go. That's one of the top tier bad movies on my list. The Room, a film with atrocious acting. I sent it to you the other day. You should give that a watch. It's a fun time. The Room, incredible movie. Not because it's good, but it's some of the worst acting I've ever seen, and it makes it pure comedy gold. High School Musical, a lot of people would consider not a great films, but I think they slap.
Okay, I have two questions for you on this topic.
Yeah.
One, would Adam Sandler movies fall into this category, or are they like kind of on their own?
Generally, no. But I think some could. Some of them could, and some of them might just be bad movies. Like, what's the movie? I think it's called Little Nicky. I think you could classify that as a bad film.
Okay.
I'm not a big okay. People are gonna roast me in the comments. I'm not a big Billy Madison guy. Um, I used to be, and then I rewatched it, and I'm just like, it's not it. Yeah, I just like some other films by him more. So there's like a couple, but I would say generally like Happy Gilmore is great. Was it Baby Daddy or something like that? That's great. You can just go through some of his like Grown Ups is. I mean, Grown Ups could be considered a bad movie, but I like it. It's a gut feeling thing, Caden. There's no actual
like Adam Sandler. They're never like cinematic movies, you know. They're feel good movies. They're go have a good time, have a good laugh. Not super serious, obviously. So I was curious how that fit into there. And then I guess
Grown Ups wouldn't be considered a bad film. It's kind of weird because like there's some that are just like bad acting and stuff, bad performances. That's obviously a bad movie. There's some like Drafted. It's just like not realistic at all. And it's like this is kind of a silly story.
Yeah.
So that counts too. There's multiple folders you can put into the file of bad movies.
And then I would suggest Scary Movie. I think has got to be.
Scary Movie has to be in there. Scary Movie's some of the best bad movies.
One of the best bad movies. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. Twisters. In terms of recent movies, Twisters with Glenn Powell, pretty bad movie. I had a good time though. It's funny. Atrocious movie.
Letterboxd. I think these are like ones where you go to the Letterboxd and it's like you give a 2-star rating and then you click the like button.
Oh yeah, no.
I like it, but it was bad.
I'm gonna bring that up real quick here because I have Twisters as a 1-star film with a heart.
Yeah.
Per liked. Here we go. The tornado version of San Andreas. Legitimately the worst movie I saw this year, but I also liked it. This is my favorite bad movie in a long time. It might be a bad
good pull.
Yeah, it might be a bad movie Hall of Famer, honestly. Think of another one off the top of the dome. San Andreas with The Rock. That is one of the worst movies in a long time, but it's a good time. You know, it's fun to watch. There's earthquakes. Cool. Yeah, it's a good topic though. Man, do you have any bad movies? But you're like, I like it though. It was a great time watching it.
Under Paris.
Okay, valid. Oh, Sharknado's Hall of Famer, all of them.
I think what I liked about Sharknado the most was like the first movie, like they tried to make it like a good movie, and then they saw it and they're like, we're just gonna make more of these and make them dumber. And I think they leaned into it perfectly.
I guess the interesting spot that you get is for films like the Transformers movies, are they in this classified bad movie category?
Oh, I got one for you.
Because they spend so much money, they hire like well-known actors, but it's just like so cringy, some of it. Okay, I want to hear yours.
Cocaine Bear.
Oh my god. No, that's not even bad. Like that's just perfect. That should have been nominated for an Oscar. And specifically for performance by the bear.
The bear was insane. I believe he was on coke.
Yeah, no. He was. He was in fact.
I heard that to get ready for the role, he actually started to do cocaine.
Yeah, because that bear was very committed to the craft, to embodying the Cocaine Bear. That's a great poll, though. Cocaine Bear, bad movies that you love? Yes. Hell yes. Man, those are some good ones. We'll get back to that another day. I'll have to make a little list, though. I'll send you, Caden. The Room, though? Need some time, man. The worst part, okay, I'll send you the, okay. they don't have the full version of the movie out anymore. You can go on YouTube and you
It
can
was like
watch.
an hour and a half.
Yeah, but you don't get the full thing. It cuts out all like all the sex scenes. There's like 8 of them because it's on YouTube, which I haven't seen actually because I've never been able to. I've only been able to watch that, and I've seen clips. There's one clip I'll send you that's not in the actual YouTube version of the movie, but it's one of the worst bits of acting you'll ever see. But nothing will make you laugh harder in this scene. Anyways, let's get back on track here with the football. Good tangent segment.
Good tangent.
Yes, sir. Number 4 for me in the AFC South Division, which is not a good division. Let's just say that right now. It's gonna be. I'm gonna change it a little bit. Okay. Yes, I like it.
I think after the preseason ends, and before week 1, I think we need to do a whole like ranking, like division ranking, like we're doing right now, and then like with records, because I'm gonna go through and do it again, just because there's been some like additions and stuff since
I agree with that.
in July, so I'm excited to do it. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna be working on pretty hard the next.
Because I made this like a couple weeks ago, and like today I was thinking about it a little more, and I have a little bit of a change. Just some thoughts I had in the shower earlier today, where my best thoughts come.
What I think is like right now, like I think the spots that they finish in the division is the same that I originally thought. But like here, I had one switch. I have the Indianapolis Colts at 5-12, and I think they got better than they were last year. So I don't think they're gonna be 5-12. I think their defense got a little better. I'm curious to see what the new defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo does there, but I'm gonna have to reevaluate that because they can win some games.
So I have a different feeling with the Indianapolis Colts, which is my last minute switch. I have the Colts number 4, 4-13. I think this team is going to start off very, very bad. I think with Anthony Richardson, they're going to be awful. They're going to be slightly better with Daniel Jones. I think it's going to be like Richardson's going to go like 0-6 or something like that, 0-7. And Daniel Jones is going to come in and be like slightly below 500. And it's one of those things like nothing really excites me about this team. And you could say maybe that's a reason to give them a slightly better record. But I have some serious doubts about this passing game. Also, I think the defense is okay, but I really, really am worried about the most important position in football, and that is quarterback. And I don't think they have quite enough around Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones to fully elevate the team like some other teams like Pittsburgh last year, for example. Even though quarterback play was better there than I think it's going to be in Indianapolis. So, I have them at 4-13. Might be a little. This is their floor. This is their floor here. But you got to do it. You got to give some guys the floor. You got to give some guys the ceiling. So,
I have the Tennessee Titans last at 4-13. Again, I'll reevaluate. It's been, about 3.5 weeks of off-season additions and training camp clips. So there'll probably be some movement here, but Tennessee Titans, I think, still won't be very good. I think Cam Ward will show some promise. I think it'll feel a lot like the Patriots season last year in terms of like seeing what you want to see out of your quarterback rookie year, even though the team is struggling. I think their defense is just not going to be very good. So,
very, very valid. I do have the Tennessee Titans at number 3. This is a little switch I had. It was the Titans to 3 and the Colts to 4. I think both teams are pretty bad. But I have the Titans going 5-12. They're going to be slightly better. I do kind of like some of the pieces. Like, I don't think L'Jarius Sneed was as good as he was with the Chiefs.
Oh, no.
But I think he's going to have a bit of a back. I think he's going to have a bit of a bounce back season. I really like Simons. I actually really like the Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears duo. I think there's some parts of this offense that could potentially be explosive, and the defense has some playmakers too. They just give me a little bit more, a little more of a chance than I think the Indianapolis Colts have to maybe pull out some, 35 to 30 games. And I do, as much as I'm not a huge fan of Cam Ward in terms of him as a prospect, I don't know the guy. I do think he's going to give higher upside to that team than the Colts quarterback situation. So
I think their floor. I have them at their floor of 4-13. But I think the head coach Callahan being there. I think the way that those weapons are set up, like you said, Pollard and Spears, it'll be a decent run game. And then have one of the best offensive line coaches in history there now with Callahan's dad. So we'll see if they can get that together. But I like Cam Ward's decision making and accuracy, and I think having Calvin Ridley, that deep threat, and having Tyler Lockett, kind of sitting in the middle there and doing whatever you want to do with your tight ends and stuff that. I feel like it can be a non-explosive offense, but a productive one. And I think if Cam Ward can figure that out, 50-50 split of run pass and, find Lockett. We need to find Lockett and then have Ridley make a couple big plays. I think in this division, especially and with the schedule they have, you can win some games.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Love Tyler Lockett, one of my favorite players in the league. Definitely has lost kind of a step compared to him in his prime a couple years ago. But I still think he could be an effective piece and a good leader over there in Nashville. Number 2 for me, though, it's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, I really wanted to have them winning the division. I'm just very worried about this defense and also what they're going to do in terms of, we'll see. Trevor, is he going to take a step up now? Not super confident in the offensive line. That's really the biggest worry is the offensive line for this team because, the defense has some playmakers with Travis. You have Josh Hines. You got some other guys on that defense, and you have that linebacker. I cannot pronounce his name. But, man, I think they're going to have a much better season, but they're still going to fall short. And it's going to be a good building block for them. I have them at 8-9.
Yeah, I have Jacksonville finishing second in the division. I have them going 9-8. I think we'll see some upside. I think Trevor Lawrence still has some gas in the tank. I feel like he's a really good football player. He just hasn't shown it the past few years, but I think he can be more comfortable in that offense, the new system, new management kind of thing. Travis Hunter, I think, is going to be a big deal. And also, I think they just got to get the run game going. Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby last year weren't great. They can be a little better, and then that defense, I don't think can get much worse. So I think they just need a couple things to step up, and I think they can finish 9-8. I think they have the talent around them to finish 9-8. We'll see, but have them in second place behind the Houston Texans, who will be 9-8 as well, but will sweep the Jaguars in the season, so they will get that tiebreaker.
I have the Texans going 10-7. I'm very bullish on this team. I think they're gonna, 10-7, my guy. Yeah, I'm going big. I'm going big in the NFC South. I think it's going to be very similar to last year. Not going to be a great division again. And I just trust a lot more of what's going on in Houston with the quarterback situation. I think they're going to have a solid offense with Nico, with some of the picks. I really like Higgins and Noel. And did Noel go there? Am I tripping?
They had 2 Iowa State receivers. I don't remember the second guy's name.
I think both of them. I think both of them went there, right?
Yeah.
I like both those guys, so I like those picks. A little worried about the offensive line, but I still think it's probably third in the division. I think it's ahead of Jacksonville, but Colts have
I think my big concern for Houston is the run game. Joe Mixon has not been explosive for the last few years, dealing with an injury yet again, same ankle injury that's been kind of plaguing him for 3-4 years now.
I'm going to play devil's advocate when you finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You have a lot of pieces there that are like kind of, injuries, Mixon slow down. Although he was pretty good last year.
He was not. Misconception. He's got a ton of carries. I want you to look at his yards per game and run efficiency numbers were not very good. And I don't know if that's him. I don't know if that's offensive line, but he was not great.
He wasn't bad.
He was good. He's not top 10 running back.
What was his average per carry? Give a guess.
Off the top of my dome?
Do it.
3.8.
4.1.
Oh, that's pretty much. That's good.
Well, not bad. I mean, it's not like A-Chain a couple years ago when he was just going berserk. But in terms of the seasons he's had, he's always kind of been this guy. He was in Cincinnati as well, where it's a guy that gets a lot of carries. Maybe not much more of like he kind of feels like a power back. You can give him a ton of carries every season. He's consistent. He's solid. But in terms of like what he put up last year, 4.1's pretty solid for him. If you look at like him in Cincinnati, some of his better years were when he was putting up 4.1 and 11 touchdowns, second highest of his career. I'm me, I'm not usually a Joe Mixon defender, but I'm going to defend him a little bit on the pod here. And I think Chubb as a backup role, I still think he can be effective. Pierce as well is a guy who I think is actually pretty solid, especially as a third string guy. So I think the running games are going to actually be decent this season.
It needs to be. So I think if they get too one-dimensional again, the offensive line it's different than last year, but that doesn't mean it's better. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. And I think that's the big question for me is with the injury to Tank Dell, if that offensive line can't hold up, I have a really hard time seeing this team winning, more than 9 games. But that defense is really good. Like last year, like how I feel about this team was kind of how that Lions game went when Goff threw 4 or 5 interceptions and the Texans still lost. Like that cannot happen this year. Your offense has to be better than that.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a very interesting division. Maybe we'll see. In terms of if a team really breaks out from that division, I think it would be Jacksonville. I just think they have a lot of explosive players over there. Trevor Lawrence, if he actually reaches that, everyone's been talking about him, generational prospects, number 1 recruit out of high school. If he's a guy who can be like top 5 MVP, Travis Hunter's the real deal. Their offense is really, really efficient. I think it could be a really good team. So I think their ceiling is the highest.
Yeah, I'd say they have the most volatility. I honestly think they have the lowest floor and the highest ceiling. I could see them finishing 4th, and I can see them finishing 1st.
I agree, my man. Anyways, that's all I've got for the episode. Do you have anything else you could say?
Not really. I'm excited to dig into the AFC West soon. Talk about that, and then we had our first preseason game on Thursday, and then everyone else plays this upcoming weekend. So really pumped for that. Bengals play Thursday. Excited to watch.
Yeah, pumped up, man, and we'll see. We'll probably go ahead and tackle some like fantasy stuff as well. Maybe we'll do a draft here soon, a little mock draft, and get that going. But good stuff. Thank everyone for listening. Have a splendid day. How do I